What's going on, everybody? I am so blessed to say this that the New York Knicks have won the Eastern Conference and are going to the NBA Finals the first time in 27 years. And when I started this podcast 5.5 years ago, one of the things I truly wanted to do was make this podcast about the Knicks winning the East. And one more after that. Then there's one more reaction after that I hope we could get to with them winning it all as one of the ultimate dream podcasts to do. But we have a ways to go till then. But for now, it's a special night we won't forget. This is you and me doing our productive conversation on the NBA playoffs, the Knicks winning the East, and what's remaining between Oklahoma City and San Antonio for the Western Conference. But you and me talking right here, right now, sharing some feelings, breaking down game 4, and then make our bold picks for the remainder of the Western Conference Finals. But the world really is a better place because you were here to join us. And my name is Matt Brown, and I am the host of the Productive Conversations podcast. And it is a Tuesday, or I should say late Monday into Tuesday, May 26, 2026. And this is a special day where we react on this post Memorial Day 2026, where we react to the Knicks winning the East. And before we do all that, I just want to remind you to like and subscribe to the Productive Conversations podcast on all podcast platforms and YouTube. And don't forget to check out exclusive content regarding the show across all social media platforms or on Instagram at Productive Conversations Podcast, X at ProdConvoPod, TikTok at ProdConvoPod, Facebook at Productive Conversations, and check us out on all podcasting platforms and YouTube, the Productive Conversations Podcast. So yeah, on this late Memorial Day, 2026, the New York Knicks manhandled the Cleveland Cavaliers and officially clinched the Eastern Conference and are going to the NBA Finals. Just you and me. Bach will return for the next one, or Fresh Faces as you know him. And yeah, I am first, before anything, before we do the breakdown of the game itself, and just focusing on this, me. I'm 31 years old. I've been a Knicks fan since I was 5 years old, starting watching basketball. Just missed the 99 finals to truly remember it. But I do remember that was the beginning of my basketball life. I liked Shaq and Kobe to start it all off, as most people my age. And then I realized I need to pick a team. The Knicks, obviously. I grew up right outside of New York City, and it's the Knicks who will be my basketball team. So the first Knicks I really remember, Latrell Sprewell, the very first Knick I remember, Allen Houston, Marcus Camby, and that Jeff Van Gundy team. Then the years go by, Allen Houston becomes a star. Stephon Marbury is the first jersey I got. And, I'm in elementary school at that point. Knicks lose to the Nets in that playoff series early on. The only one in the Marbury era. It stinks. And we dwindled down a little. We got our David Lee era, as people remember. And then Amari Stoudemire chose to become a Knick. So we have the Raymond Felton, Amari Stoudemire, Danilo Gallinari Knicks that I was really into early in high school. Then later in high school, I remember I was on vacation in Florida where Carmelo Anthony gets traded. Things looking up. So that we have the Tyson Chandler, Amari Stoudemire, Carmelo Anthony Knicks, Mike Woodson coaching. That was really hyped in my second half of my high school life. Lynn Sanity was my senior year of high school. Then KP gets drafted when I'm in college. Phil Jackson joins. We're feeling okay. We fell short losing to Indiana. We lost to the Celtics in that Melo era in the playoffs, and we lost to Indiana in the second round. And things getting really bleak. Porzingis goes in. Frank Ntilikina, it's not working. And then we start hitting some real dark paths. those Langston Hughes, the Langston Galloway Knicks, the Kevin Knox Knicks, where we get Tim Hardaway Jr. was probably the best player back then. Alfred Payton, my college years are just abysmal, absolutely abysmal. Watching Derek Fisher lead them to an 18-win season, watching David Fizdale lead them to, I think he led them to a 15, 16-win season. Then Fizdale led them to an 18-win season. Jeff Hornacek and things looking really, really ugly. But then one of the first Knicks, Mitch Robinson, 2019, 2020, feeling okay. Maybe we got at least but have a player with potential. No, Kevin Knox clearly ain't it. Then we wait. Oh, maybe Kyrie and KD are going to come to the Knicks. This is what they want. Kyrie, Jersey boy. KD wants to be his own identity after winning championships in Golden State. Doesn't happen. We sign Julius Randle from the Lakers. Okay, I guess. But we were still a little hyped. We were really looking forward and seeing if we can draft Zion Williamson. We don't. Third pick overall instead. RJ Barrett comes. Like, okay, there's some momentum coming. We're feeling a little better. Tom Thibodeau comes, joins, and he really is the first one to start this new renaissance for the Knicks. That it might actually work out. Kemba Walker joins. Evan Fournier. Okay, maybe we're something's cooking here. Well, then we make the playoffs out of the pandemic. So hyped. Play the Hawks. Obviously, fuck Trae Young, all of that. But Hawks make their deep run in the playoffs. We are out of luck. Then I believe it was we missed the playoffs the next year. Then Jalen Brunson gets signed to a 4-year deal. We were excited. Didn't know what to come, but why not? We need that point guard, and he obviously evolves into the most beloved Nick of my time being a fan. And then we're starting to really get something. Brunson signs. Josh Hart's traded. We mesh with trade to the Knicks from Portland. We got something going here with Randall and RJ. We make small strides, then the big risk Leon Rose takes, and Wild West trading OG Anunoby wins the title in Toronto. Trades Emmanuel Quickly, who I really loved, and RJ Barrett, but obviously turns into this. But we fall short. Then in the summer 2024, Karl-Anthony Towns joins. Deuce McBride is turning into an amazing role player. Then we make this deep run in 2025 that looked like it could have been the year to come out the East. Then Halliburton's infamous bounce in. I was on the air for that. Oh, man. That was heartbreaking. Really, really heartbreaking. And in that run, too, Grandma passes away, so the Knicks were an ultimate distraction during that tough stretch with this deep run, too. But we get the also I forgot during this time Karl-Anthony Towns joins. Mikal Bridges, the infamous Mikal Bridges gets traded infamously, the six pick Mitch. Oh, sorry, six pick Mick, and that basically completes the team. We get some solid role players and we get some solid bench players, Jose Alvarado especially, and then I'm on the air for the tough loss against Atlanta, but then they're just cooking after that, at home off the air, watching the infamous 22-point comeback. This Knicks team has been so much fun to watch all year. I've talked about it often, and then it leads to this. The New York Knicks are your Eastern Conference champions. And anybody who's seen me and post and talk about the Knicks for a long time, one of my favorite identities as a person was being a Knicks fan with so much passion. Maybe some people call it delusional, but me and clearly many others that we've interacted online and talked to throughout years when I first got a Twitter in 2012, 2011, talk about the Knicks and how excited I was. Another Knicks fan saying that it will happen. And there's being a Knicks Twitter with Nick Muse New York basketball, make the Knicks great again, all those accounts, and us interact and talk about our favorite basketball team. And now we celebrate. And even in this time where we are seeing new Knicks fans, I mean, it's part of the deal for anyone, but new Knicks fans, content creator Knicks fans, big celebrity Knicks fans, all of that. But even beyond anything of all those celebrations, I think about me. Even before knowing players, knowing they are, it was this New York Knicks logo that you fall in love with. And now seeing all this progress, all the horrible times, all the people trolling, all the people judging you, all the people who think you're crazy to be a Knicks fan, and especially this interesting era I've been in, being a basketball fan with the Shaq and Kobe's, the LeBrons, the Mavs winning those titles, the LeBron Heat to the LeBron Cavs to the Warriors and Cavs and KD battling it out. And all that time seeing all these great players, and you choose the New York Knicks to be a fan of, yeah, because I've been close. I've been close to the vicinity. Why not? I've been a spoiled Yankee fan for so long, so might as well be humbled. At one point, spoiled Giant fan, and they went through 12 years of abyss, but finally looking like they're going to turn things around this fall. And then it all just comes down to February 2004, where I went to my first Knicks game in the pre-renovated Garden, where we saw the New York Knicks take on the Detroit Pistons. That legendary 2004 Pistons team that won the finals, defeat Shaq and Kobe, that ends that era. And the Ben Wallace, it's amazing to see the Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, Chauncey, Tayshaun Prince, and Rasheed, and who am I missing? Ben Wallace, Rasheed, Tayshaun Prince, Chauncey, and Rip Hamilton. That was the first Knicks game I went to. And I remember we had Tim Thomas, Kurt Thomas, Stephon Marbury, Jamal Crawford, maybe it was Dikembe Mutombo or Nazi Muhammad. Um, but that was my first experience going to a Knicks game in 2004. 22 years later, we are now here. I am an adult. I work in New York City as a content creator. I make podcasts here in New York City and in Connecticut and in New Jersey, where I've made this show. And I have my side jobs too. And the one thing we've always wanted to see and talk about is the New York Knicks making a deep run. And every year, especially in the Jalen Brunson era, they clearly have gotten closer and closer and closer. And now they're here in the NBA Finals. And we'll talk a little bit, obviously, and especially on Sunday when we actually preview the NBA Finals and where this is going. But there's no reason why you can't doubt this team. And you can see in the books in Vegas that the odds of the Knicks actually winning the finals, whether against San Antonio or Oklahoma, are closing in, because we're seeing everything click for this team once and for all. After that tough loss against Atlanta in game 3, we've seen this team win 11 straight playoff games, blow out all their opponents. And sure, if you want to talk about the East is weak and whatever, and there isn't anything wrong with that take, but clearly the Knicks have everything working for them. Everyone's contributing from the starting five. Brunson, obviously, leading to one of the great comebacks in Knicks history. Brunson being Brunson and is going to be an all-time Knick when it's said and done. Josh Hart playing his role. Having bad performances in game 1, having bad performances and backing it up and tearing it up, whether getting boards, driving lane and stuff. Karl-Anthony Towns being a huge factor, especially from him driving down the lane for once, actually showing some toughness, boxing people out, getting the boards he needs. Karl-Anthony Towns has turned into who we expect him to be. And those people thinking about Giannis, where he's going this summer, you clearly don't need him. You don't. Absolutely do not. Then we have Then we have, all right, we got Cat, Brunson, Hart, OG Anunoby, who is healthy, who clearly recovered, took the advantage of the extended time off, and the Sixers being so terrible that they Knicks didn't need him. But he's turned into this unsung hero, whether driving the lane or making threes or making perimeter shots. And then I think the secret weapon, the reason why, especially not all, especially there is Jalen Brunson, the one leading the squad, but it's Mikal Bridges who's been the true MVP of this team, especially after that scoring 0 points in Game 3 against Atlanta, to now making big threes, whether corner threes, making shots, playing great defense. Everything is clearly working out. And then the bench, what the bench is doing, obviously Landry Shamet. I thought for a second he might win Eastern Conference MVP. Obviously not disappointing Jalen Brunson wins it, but he his threes have been clutch. His threes have mattered so much. And his threes have been such a factor coming into these, not only the comeback game one, but in these blowout victories. For somebody who, for a hot second, wasn't on the team, even though he was somebody that Thibodeau did use in the last year, or there was a chance he wasn't on the team, but Malcolm Brogdon retires. Boy, isn't he kicking himself? But it's Landry Shamet who's become a major player off the bench. Jose Alvarado as well with that trade from New Orleans to New York, and the native has been killing it, making some solid plays. And also, don't forget Deuce McBride, who's been another. If we have the six men being Alvarado, if we say Landry 6A, Alvarado, and then we'll say Shamet 6A, Deuce 6B, with Alvarado also being a major factor off the bench. You can't be nothing. You can't be more hyped for what this team's doing now. They're playing defense. They're being well coached by Mike Brown, and this story from Mike Brown, from the ups and downs of his NBA career and 2 NBA coaches of the year. For a second, I thought he was going to lead Sacramento to the promised land, but they fire him after turning that team around, getting to the playoffs, and look what he's done now. Essentially, barely becoming the Knicks coach in the summer, and now he could be the one to lead them to the promised land. I've followed this team very hard this season, and if you've seen my social media, you know that's true, and if you've seen this show, you know that's true. And the fact that we've gotten to this position now where they're 4 wins away against the Western, and they have to play four more wins away from winning the championship, the NBA Finals championship. I mean, I can't. I have to wait for that day to come. I sincerely hope it in my lifetime, and I hope it's soon. And heck, there is a good feeling that I think they really do have a chance to beat either Oklahoma City, or the Spurs. While this is clearly a step up in competition, a true final boss, whoever these two teams are going to be, Knicks could take them on. They have answers for everything, with the exception maybe the size. With Wemby is the one for San Antonio, and then there's some big boys with Chet, and Hartenstein, who we miss, former Nick too, on the Oklahoma City Thunder. You feel though that even with all that I've mentioned, that hey, this Knicks team still's got a chance. They really do. They can beat the West. They can beat the West. I said in the playoff preview it was going to be Knicks and Spurs finals. And that might actually happen. And I said Knicks in 7 for that. Even though we had a head and a heart competition internally, I said Knicks to win it in 7. And that might actually happen when we had 16 teams left. And now we're down to 3. Yeah. This is I thought maybe it'd be a little more emotional. I feel that will happen the day they win the finals, but the fact that I'm seeing the Knicks in the finals now is a huge, huge deal to me. And I'm glad where I saw this too. In this studio with family right over there. I'll never forget it. And people did ask, to come out to the city or whatever. And I'm not too far from it where I'm at. But or I should say not far from Manhattan. I'm not too far from Manhattan. And I just wanted to take this in and at home with my family. Cause that's more memorable than being with a bunch of nothing wrong with the bar atmosphere. I probably will go to that, maybe not for the closeout games, but for the closeout itself, for such a big moment, I just want to be with loved ones. But that's a whole other thing for another day. But regardless, though, whether you're tearing it up in the city right now or you're enjoying this with loved ones, this is a special day. Knicks making it to the NBA Finals. And now I've seen it. I've seen at least all my 4 favorite teams in a championship now. Obviously, the Yankees going to World Series, winning some, losing some. New York Giants, seen them win 2 Super Bowls. New York Rangers, I saw in the Stanley Cup in high school. That was ugly, but losing to the Kings, but I seen it. And it was the Knicks, the last one I need to see in a championship. 31, worth the wait. And I'm so proud of taking it all in and talking with Knicks fans all over the place, whether in the city or outside it. My whole life. And now they're here. And just a few quick, and now they're here, and we're going to enjoy every second. The NBA Finals start on Wednesday, June 3rd on ABC at 8:30, and I can't wait to take that in. It's going to be an amazing June, and hopefully ends with a Knicks championship, and we're at the Canyon of Heroes. I was at the Yankees and Giants parades for that. I want to see the Knicks one. I will definitely be there. But for now, that's what I have to say regarding the Knicks in the NBA Finals and making it a truly beautiful, beautiful night I will never forget. And showcasing my tweets from 2011, my posts from 2011, my tweets from 2013, my photos from 2019, talk about how this day will come. And it has. And there's just one more mountain to climb. And that is the win the NBA Finals itself. Won't be easy, but this is clearly and most definitely a challenge that they are accepting, and by God, maybe even overcome. But just a few minutes on game 2 really quick. Sorry, game 4, second segment. The Knicks winning by a score of 130-93 over the Cleveland Cavaliers. They led as much as 45 points. It should have hit that minus 30 for the Knicks. Karl-Anthony Towns, a major factor. 19 points, 14 rebounds, 3 for 3 from the three-point line. 100% from 3. We'll like that. A big double-double and being efficient. Similarly to the Thunder going off when they won game 4, their game 3, Knicks at game 4, the bench goes off. 58 points with scored not only from Shamet, Alvarado, and Deuce. We saw Tyler Kolek get some buckets. We saw Mitch, obviously the other major factor, Mitch Robinson. I failed to mention with the other 3 major bench players, but he goes in. Whether his hack and Mitch are getting important rebounds, he's obviously a major asset in that bench too. But he scored 8. Diatti gets 6. As I mentioned, Kolek, Jordan Clarkson, who's been a great player off this bench this year as well. 58 points from the bench. Shouts to the Knicks for that one. And 33 assists, showing that team basketball. This team offensively really is just as good as Oklahoma City and the Spurs especially. And the Cavs, despite Donovan Mitchell getting 31 points, they still had 22 turnovers. James Harden once again disappearing. And this Cavs team that has been absolutely frustrating all season long. A Cavs team that should have their held up high because they definitely fought 2 Game 7s. I don't know what happened. I guess against the Knicks, whether they ran out of steam or what have you. And they have really good players. Dean Wade's good. Obviously, Harden and Mitchell. Jared Allen's probably the most underrated center in the entire NBA, if you ask me. And then we also have people like people like Evan Mobley too, who has the potential to be even a better player than he's portrayed. That's what I don't know. It seems that after the Game 1 loss, down 20, up 22 points, with just about 8 minutes to go in the fourth, and losing that game, also going in overtime and not showing, also losing that game in overtime and not showing up, that probably crushed their, it did crush their souls. Because of that, they are now, they're gone. They are gone now. They're headed to Cancun, and that was the end of the series. Which I said right away watching it that there's no way they're going to recover it. You basically never see in series play in baseball, basketball, and hockey that if you have a heartbreaking loss like that, you usually at some point in the middle of the series, you most likely don't recover from that and come back. So after that, they've been lifeless the rest of the way. Very small moments here and there, maybe in Game 2 and Game 3, but it's been all Knicks. And they're, in all honesty, good season, an even better one last year with under Atkinson, really ends in tragedy. I wouldn't be surprised if Kenny Atkinson gets fired, especially with that, for having so much trust in James Harden when it clearly wasn't working. Great coach, really great coach, a person who builds communities and cultures, but it's ugly how this ended, and I could not recover if I was a Cavs fan. I'd have a bitter taste in my mouth. And usually those 22-point comebacks come at the Knicks' expense. For a hot second with that Sam Merrill shot that went in and out and then ultimately was a miss. That was the difference between the Cavs having any chance whatsoever in the East to not having any hope once it was all over. So with that, though, the Knicks defeat the Cavs. They sweep them 11 in a row, second sweep in a row for the Knicks. And now they will be resting for another 9-10 days. Wait to see who they play in the West. And that will transition to our final segment, the Western Conference, where for the next few days, at least Tuesday and Thursday night, we're going to get some damn good basketball. And hopefully Saturday night, Game 7, must-watch TV. Words can't describe how hyped I am for that one. With OKC and the San Antonio Spurs. It's been an incredible series. I'll never forget Dad hitting me up and telling me how he saw Lou Alcindro, aka Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who is Wemby, and Wemby's pretty much our Wilt Chamberlain, stealing a game from Oklahoma City on their home court. Then it's gone back and forth since then. No one's has a streak. It's 2-2, and we are getting a really great Game 5, I believe, on Tuesday night. Oh my God, if you're a true basketball fan like me, you are hyped. No one's complained about the NBA during the playoffs. But yes, OKC wins Game 2 and Game 3. San Antonio wins Game 1 and Game 4. I apologize. So there is a streak with the OKC. But with Game 4, Howden, his Spurs win 103-82. Very dominant. Oklahoma City was flat. Shea Gilgeous had a bad game. Not the best series so far for him. But they are going back to a Game 5 on Tuesday night, quickly, let me look at the odds for this one. On a percentage wise, Oklahoma City is a 64% favorite. But the exact breakdown, let's see. Oklahoma City's opening as a minus 5.5 points spread. Oklahoma City minus 5.5 points. Slight spread. Okay, so it could go either way. It's almost a pick 'em on the money line. Minus 110 for Spurs, minus 110 for the Thunder, with the Thunder opening as a 5.5 point spread. Maybe that goes down before tip off. But interesting there. But it could go either way. In the case for Oklahoma City, they have the home court. They are the 1 seed. They have blown out this team before. The talent is incredibly high, and they have shown true championship pedigree. Maybe even slightly more than the Knicks at times, but regardless, though, they have injuries. No Jalen Williams, despite them still getting 64 wins, mostly without him. The AJ Mitchell, him being out is a factor. But you could argue Jared McCain is a great point guard. I won't say he's just as good as AJ Mitchell, but there are points where you actually do think that. He can score from three. He has a great jump shot. He's fast. He's very quick. Can drive to the lane himself. That kind of answers some questions for Oklahoma City there. So Oklahoma City with that. But for San Antonio, though, they are very young. They're very aggressive. They have won at home. They've won on the road before against this Thunder team. And, oh, yeah, they have the best player in the NBA right now, the new face of the league, Victor Wembanyama, who was a major reason why they on both the San Antonio wins. He's a 7'6" player who gets an insane amount of blocks, shoots from the half court. Yeah, he can shoot from the half court, as you could say, long distance shooter, or he obviously is unstoppable under the rim. And put those two factors, San Antonio's also have had their injuries with De'Aaron Fox and Harper's been hurt. But yeah, they seem to recover too. They have a deep bench. But it's really hard to see. And when we're back on Sunday night to preview the Western Conference and Eastern Conference finals. And just so you know, there is a good chance we do an instant reaction to when the Western Conference finals ends. And maybe good chance. I don't really want any spoilers there and then repeating shows, but especially if it's a good game, we should do a reaction. Maybe we'll do 10 15 minutes at the most. But we'll worry about that then. But really breaking it down, me speaking on this Monday night into Tuesday morning, who do I think will win this series? Oh man, I could say what I want now. Mine might change in an hour, but it really does come down to the depth. And ultimately, while I did say Spurs and Knicks finals, and when the playoffs started 2 months ago, or it feels like, this time I think Oklahoma City, for what they've done off their own bench themselves, they scored 76 points off the bench in Game 3. As I mentioned, Jared McCain really is a great option at the point guard position, even with AJ Mitchell out, and the fact that OKC has been fine all season without Jalen Williams, and then the other Jalen Williams has been a great bench player there. Hartenstein's obviously a big factor. The Spurs can't afford to. It feels like the Spurs can't afford to lose somebody else to injury. But at least the Oklahoma City Thunder, if that were to happen, they have a little more insurance and room there. So I think it does go 7 with Oklahoma City winning. And then we get an intriguing Oklahoma City Thunder versus New York Knicks finals, or we get the rematch of the last finals the Knicks were in 27 years ago, the San Antonio Spurs versus the New York Knicks. And yeah, we'll see how the conversations go for the next few days. No NBA play. The NBA finals don't start until June 8th. Sorry, June 3rd. That will be Wednesday. I'm just thinking in my mind that I really do see, don't have much doubts that the Knicks could beat the West. New York's have been underdogs before, even in different sports. The Giants were a 14-point underdog versus the Patriots in Super Bowl 42, and we know what happened. And a lot of people did not expect that. Only the Giants did, and it seems like with how healthy this Knicks team is and how close they seem together, they believe they could pull this off and create holy matrimony in New York Knicks NBA championship. We won't know the answer to that for a few weeks, but you know we're going to follow it the whole way through. We're going to enjoy every second of it. And at the end of the day, Knicks tape, bing bong, go New York, go New York, go. Regardless, New York Knicks are going to be playing in the NBA Finals in 2026. What a blessing that we're here to see it. Let's enjoy every second. I hope you've had as much fun as I've had. And God bless the New York Knicks. God bless you. God bless everybody. And just, I am very thankful that we get to have this show today. So, with all that, my name is Matt Brown. I am the host of the Productive Conversations podcast. For the rest of the week, we had to move the tweet cap, the what happened this weekend, to Wednesday instead of our normally scheduled Tuesday because we had to watch this game, and especially with how dominant the Knicks looked, we were able to move that. So instead of what happened this weekend, it's what has happened since the weekend. So we're gonna have that show for you on Wednesday. So that tweet kept talking about what's trending in sports, news, entertainment, and culture. That'll be on Wednesday, and then our normally scheduled Friday recording. Our regularly scheduled Friday podcast will be available to you. So tweet caps on Wednesday and Friday. Talk about what's trending in our world in sports, news, entertainment, and culture from the weekend and into this week. So we'll see you there. No baseball this week. We'll be back with baseball next week with Alec Reeves. And my name is Matt Brown. I am the host of the Productive Conversations podcast. Go Knicks, baby. We'll see you throughout the week.